Let's talk science. Okay, that's better. What's going on, guys, and welcome back for another episode of Let's Talk Science, the weekly show where I talk about your scientific subjects that you want to know about, except recently we haven't been getting a whole lot of suggestions, so I've been making up my own, but that's okay. So this week we're talking about echolocation, but before we actually jump into the subject, I've got a few things I need to say. First of all, I'm very sorry about the Scientific Arsenal last week. It wasn't able to get uploaded on time because I was having a lot of technical difficulties. If you guys read the description, which I doubt you did because nobody ever reads the description anymore, I tried to add some animations into it with an app I have, and it didn't work out so well, so I had to delete the animations. I had to re-upload it probably 4 different times. They just kept only uploading parts of it, wouldn't upload the entire thing. Eventually, I finally got to upload the entire thing after I deleted all the animations. So it's not as fancy as I wanted it to be, but just know that the animations were there, and it looked a lot cooler than it actually does. But I hope you guys like it anyway. I hope you guys like the next episode. I'm probably talking about artificial intelligence again, just spoilers. But, yeah, so we're back on schedule, I think, hopefully. I hope I don't have any more problems, but we shouldn't have any problems. But yeah, so this week we're going to talk about echolocation. Now, what exactly is echolocation? I am so glad you asked. Now, echolocation is the location of objects by reflected sound, mostly used by dolphins and bats, because if you ever hear their high-pitched noises, that's their echolocation. But basically what it means is, if there's an object in an area that you can't see, or if you're blind in total, and you can't see an object, you can send a high-pitched noise at the object and it'll bounce off and you can hear the actual reflection of sound and you can actually hear the difference of where the reflection is going, so that way you can tell where the object is. We'll get into that a little bit later. It's kind of complicated. I'll explain it all. And it's very, very weird. But yeah, so we'll get into that later. First of all, let's talk about human echolocation. Now, aside from just dolphins and bats, humans use echolocation too. Have you ever noticed that blind people have those canes that they tap things with, or sometimes they might snap their fingers a lot, or they might stomp their feet? Well, that's their form of echolocation. They send off those different noises so that they can tell if there's an object in the area because they can't see it. They're blind. That's just how they work. By the way, the myth that bats are blind is completely false. Bats are actually, some of them can see 3 times better than a human, and they actually can see pretty well. So the whole saying you're as blind as a bat, that's not really true because bats can see. There are no blind bats. Well, I'm sure there are blind bats, but like there's not any traditional blind bats. They're all able to see pretty well. So I'm not sure where that myth got started. Maybe they just can't see during the night because they do use echolocation to hunt. They don't use it just to move around. They use it to hunt only. So that's kind of maybe where that started. They have to use echolocation because they can't see at night. I'm not sure because bats were not evolved with night vision like other animals were, like cats and dogs and wolves and tigers and lions and all that kind of stuff, and bears. Oh my, I had to throw that in there, sorry. But yeah, so bats can't see during the night, so they have to use echolocation to figure out where things are going around. I think dolphins have a similar system because it's really dark underwater, so they have to use echolocation to figure out where things are because they can't see underwater either. So humans use echolocation because they're blind and they can't see certain things, so they have to send off different noises by tapping and snapping their fingers. As you saw during my intro, I was trying to snap to see if I could find my chair, which didn't work out so well because I'm not blind and I couldn't hear that well. I was just having my eyes closed to see if it worked, which does not work, by the way, because if your eyes are closed, you're still seeing. You're just seeing the back of your eyelids. You're not actually seeing nothing. So that's a mouthful. Let me try to slow it down a little bit. So okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, okay, so let me see, what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say here is, hopefully you all know that when one sense is disabled, so if you can't see, all your other senses get stronger. So if you can't see, you can feel better, you can hear better, you can smell better, you can taste better. And if you can't hear, you can see better, you can smell better, you can taste better, you can feel better, etc. But when you close your eyes, that doesn't disable your seeing. You can't hear better just because your eyes are closed, because you're still seeing, your eyes are still working. They're just not seeing light, they're just seeing darkness, but they still work. So it doesn't disable your vision and enable your hearing to get stronger. It doesn't work that way. If you were completely blinded to a point where your eyes no longer work, then your other senses would get stronger, but only then would they get stronger. You can't force your senses to get stronger just by closing your eyes. It doesn't work that well. Trust me, I tried it. But yeah, so let's get back to echolocation. You might be asking, how does it work? Why is echolocation important? And what's the point in knowing what it is? And if you're not asking that, then why are you on this channel? Because you don't belong here. Sorry, that's just the truth. If you're not going to question things, then you shouldn't be a scientist. That's what we do. We question things, we find the answers in our own way, and then we use the information to solve other problems. That's what science basically is. It's all trial and error, solving different things using different things that we already know and then applying it to new things and stuff like that. So if you're not questioning me already, then you should be. But basically, let's get down to how it works. So echolocation, basically how it works is vibrations that travel through the air, like I've talked about before in my vibrations video, which was completely boring. I'm very sorry about that again. It's vibrations that travel through the air, and if there's an object in the area, when the vibrations hit the object, it'll bounce off in various directions, which cause it can cause like upsets in the path of the vibrations, and the sounds will bounce back and go into your ear. So it might be very, very subtle, but you can still hear it. So if you like snapped in a dark cave, if there was a rock in front of you, it could hit the rock and bounce back, and you hear just like, okay, let's see if I can find an example. So if you hear a sound, you might go woo, 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 woo. But if it's a rock, it might go woo, 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 woo. See? So it might be very, very subtle, but if you can hear that difference, you can tell if there's an object in the area. Actually, maybe I'll just... Okay, I have an idea. Hang on. Now, you guys know how much I love whiteboards, so I decided to use a whiteboard for this demonstration. So basically, what's going on here is, this is a rock, I should have probably labeled it, and this is the vibration. So, if the vibration continues... Okay, so the vibration continues. It will hit this rock and bounce in all different directions, you see. But this vibration will continue straight forward because there's nothing in its path. But by doing this, you can hear this because the vibrations bouncing off this rock would bounce off of the walls and continue their way back to your ears, which you'd be able to hear the difference. So that's how you can tell how there are different objects in your area, because you can sense technically you could sense it. You could hear the vibrations that bounce off of things when you hit them with a strong enough frequency. And by the way, high frequencies are the best frequencies because high frequencies are kind of like lighter frequencies than heavy. Like, okay, so a higher frequency moves in like a constant rate, like that. A lower frequency moves like this. So if you were to use a lower frequency, it wouldn't bounce as easily. A higher frequency would travel farther and bounce easier. That's why dolphins and bats evolved to use higher frequencies when they screech over lower frequencies, because they'll be able to travel faster, travel farther, and they'll be able to bounce off easier. So that way their echolocation is a little bit more effective. So yeah, if you're going to try to experiment with echolocation, try to use a higher frequency. So like, snap your fingers. You could, I guess you'd scream if you want to scare the crap out of somebody. You can try something in your feet that's still kind of a lower frequency. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but if you can find a higher frequency, maybe use a whistle. I don't know. But then, yeah, so I'm not sure how you guys can test this, because it's really hard to actually detect it if you are not blind or if you do not have hearing enhancements of any kind. So you can still try it. I was able to test it with my dog. He's over there sleeping. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, he always lays on my bed. Freaking that dog. But yeah, so I snapped over him. I could hear the sound was just regular, and I snapped in front of him. I could hear the sound ended a lot sooner, and it was a lot lower pitch. So I noticed that if you snap in front of an object, then it sounds different than if you snap past the object. So let's see if I don't know if you guys can pick this up, but there's that. Can you hear that? So it's deeper there than it is up there. I don't know if you guys could detect that. Probably not, just because I'm really bad at snapping. Plus, my phone probably couldn't pick that up that well. But yeah, so you guys can experiment with that. There's all kinds of stuff you can do that. But the real question is, what's the point in knowing this? Why am I telling you all this? And we'll get to that right now. Okay, so what's the real point in me telling you all this information? I'll tell you exactly what the real point is. With our technology today, we can probably use a lot of what we know about science and a lot of what we know about vibration, different things like that, and echolocation, to find places that we can't usually see, like the bottom of the ocean, or in deep, dark caves that our flashlights just won't work in. We can use echolocation to figure out if there are actually objects in there. We won't be able to identify the objects more than likely unless we have like extremely high-powered speakers or something, but I can't talk. we would at least be able to figure out what's down there, or if there's anything down there at all. So we could use that. That's one benefit to it. We could also use it to help the blind see easier. That's another benefit to it. There's major technological advances we can use with echolocation, in my opinion. We can use them for all kinds of stuff. So if you guys are interested in echolocation, I'd definitely pursue it. It's probably not the most interesting subject just due to the fact that it's so little. There's not much going on there, but still, it'd be pretty cool to research. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool subject. But yeah, that's about it for this episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hope you guys tune in for Scientific Arsenal next week. It'll be on artificial intelligence because you know how much I love that. That's gonna be fun. It might have to be a two-parter. I'm not sure yet because I kind of go overboard in explaining stuff, so I might kind of like talk for too long, and then yeah. So yeah, so this is kind of a shorter episode today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway, though. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty cool subject. Echolocation. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'm going to be dropping all my links down in the description as usual. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tune in next week, all that kind of stuff. I think I already said all that. Be sure to tell your friends, like and share and favorite and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. You know what to do. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week.